What's up, everybody? It's your boy Christian Ballard, Ballard Sports Media, coming at you live on a Monday night for the Unprofessional Sports Show. I guess I could have our new background, but isn't it just, it is kind of weird. Chess Hall is not feeling well tonight, so I decided I would do, and I got his permission. Uh, you know, that's just kind of what co-hosts do. I would go solo on the show tonight. So what we'll do is we'll look at the new um, AP Top 25. Not that it's really meaningful. I mean, it's meaningless now. All that matters is tomorrow night, college football playoff rankings when those come out. But I do think the AP Top 25 poll gives us a little clarity. It kind of helps us to know what we're getting ourselves into, possibly with the committee tomorrow night. So we can look at that. And like we always do, we'll recap some of the games and the scores this past weekend. And hopefully next week we can get Chess Hall back. Show will be on his channel. And, Chess, yeah, he's in the comments. I love you, buddy. He says, sorry I could not join tonight. I have the flu. Just get to feeling better, and we'll hope to get you back next week. So let's go ahead and get into the latest rankings here. And again, I mentioned that the college football playoff rankings to be released tomorrow night. The AP poll kind of gives us a little bit of clarity in what we could see. So here's what we got. Georgia beating Tennessee this past weekend. They improved to 9-0. Ohio State, let me double check who they played. I think it was like Michigan State. They're 9-0. Michigan sitting pretty at number 3, undefeated. TCU looking phenomenal. It was Northwestern. I apologize, is who Ohio State beat. They didn't even look too good in it. 21-7, the final score of that game. And we'll get into some of these games. TCU won by 10 over Texas Tech. So they move up 3 spots to number 4 in the AP poll. Tennessee only drops 3 spots after losing their first game of the season on the road in Athens to the Georgia Bulldogs. Oregon climbing the ropes to number 6. LSU pulls the upset over my Crimson Tide, sadly, but they're up 8 spots to number 7. USC moves up a spot. UCLA moves up a spot. And Alabama drops from 6 to number 10. Ouch. Ole Miss stays the same at 11. Clemson, number 12. Utah, 13. Penn State, 14. North Carolina, Tulane, NC State. You get down to 18. Texas enters the rankings. Notre Dame enters the rankings with their upset over Clemson. Who did Texas? Let me double check. They pulled an upset over Kansas State, and they got a game this weekend with TCU. Circle that on the calendar. That'll be a night game at Texas. So that should be a fun game. Liberty climbs up 4 spots, 8-1. Notre Dame enters the rankings with their upset of Clemson. Illinois drops 7 spots, losing a game. UCF up 3 spots. Kansas State down 10 spots. And entering the ranks at 24 and 25, we got Washington at 7-2 and Florida State at 6-3. The teams dropped were Oklahoma State, who was 18. Wake Forest was 20, Syracuse 22, and Oregon State 24. Other receiving votes, Cincinnati almost got in. Kentucky had some votes. Coastal, Wake, Oklahoma State, Baylor, Kansas, Mississippi State, South Carolina, Troy, UTSA, Oregon State, Louisville, San Jose State. Again, We wait for tomorrow night for the CFP rankings, and we we expect it to be something similar to this, but we will find out what the committee thinks. I can tell you one thing: the top five right there that you see, the top six really. I know who's not going to be in there. Alabama. Yep. And speaking of, we're going to get into some of these games tonight, and we're going to kind of talk about what exactly happened this weekend. So, um, I guess I don't know where to start. Um, I guess we'll kind of. I've said my piece on Alabama LSU. We'll dive into it, and then kind of look it over a little more, um, and we'll move on from there. LSU pulls the upset 32-31 in Death Valley, winning there in Death Valley for the first time since 2010. 32-31 over the Crimson Tide. This game came down to the wire, obviously. It came down to a 2-point conversion on the final play of the game. Defense just did not do a good job covering. The offense, the play calling for Alabama, just out of this world embarrassing. And there has been a lot of talk. I do have to go back and listen to Coach Saban's press conference today, but apparently he said he's not ready to fire anybody. And even though the fans are calling for Bill O'Brien to get fired, they're calling for Pete Golding to get fired. They're calling, just staff turnover all the way around in Tuscaloosa is what we're calling for. When you look at this game, though, focus in on this game specifically, 32-31 the final. It was a scoreless first quarter. It actually looked like one of the classic LSU Bama games, just a whole lot of good defense. But that fourth quarter turned it around and made it so crazy. It was 7-6 LSU at halftime. Then they outscore Alabama 7-3 to go up 14-9 entering the fourth and final quarter. We thought it was the final quarter. Alabama did come back though, 14-9. They outscore LSU 15-10. We go into overtime, tied at 24. Alabama gets possession. And what it basically came down to was this. They kicked the field goal, the extra point, and they go down, they score, they kick the PAT, they're up 31-24. Okay. LSU gets the ball. They want to go down and score, obviously. Jaden Daniels ran it in 25 yards, and then a gutsy play call for Brian Kelly. He wanted to give it everything he got. He had confidence in his team that they could pull this off. Mason Taylor caught the 2-point conversion pass from Jaden Daniels to win the game, right? And by the way, the overtime drive for LSU was one play for 25 yards. Overall in this game, Alabama had one turnover given up to LSU. They had less time of possession, but they had more first downs and total yards. LSU just made the plays when it mattered. They came in the clutch. They did what they had to do. No excuses. And I give them credit. I give them a lot of credit. LSU might be the team to beat in the West right now. It's not won yet. Alabama's hope is riding on what LSU does the rest of the season, and you got to basically hope that LSU drops the rest of their games in the SEC, and I think Alabama could still have a shot at Georgia in the SEC championship. But again, it's not very likely. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. But 32-31, the final score over the Alabama Crimson Tide. LSU taking home the W. Let's look at the game of the week. Shocking that this was not a one-score game. This was actually a two-score game. The number one Tennessee Volunteers fall to 8-1. What a win streak they had. What a season that they've had. It's not over yet. Can they still win the East? Honestly, I'm going to say no. I mean, it's doable, but you'd have to hope that Georgia drops their SEC games, drops a couple, and let's just be honest, that's not going to happen. Chase McGrath hit a 47-yard field goal in the first quarter for Tennessee to go up 3-0. Georgia, plenty of offensive weapons for Stetson Bennett, Ladd McConkey, Marcus Rosemary, Jack Sate had a couple big plays in there. It ends up being 24-6 at halftime, 14-3 at the end of the first. UGA just had the more dominant defense. Kirby Smart's that head coach. I'll say it. He just knows what it takes to build a winning team week in and week out, no matter who they play. And it's not like, does this make Tennessee a bad team? No. They just, got caught up in a mess and had a bad Saturday. And Georgia just played to the standard of Georgia football. You ot to give them credit. The lead receiver for them was Ladd McConkey with 5 receptions, 94 yards, and a touchdown. Stetson Bennett was 17-25, 257 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kenny McIntosh, 10 carries, 52 yards. You look at the Tennessee side, Hendon Hooker, he didn't have too bad of a game. He just didn't have any passing touchdowns. 23 of 33 for 195 yards and a pick. Jalen Wright, 21 carries, 69 yards and a touchdown. Cedric Tillman, the lead receiver, no touchdowns for him for Tennessee. 7 receptions of 68 yards. So, I can't even. Let's see. What's up, E-Man Report? Is it time to say dynasty in Georgia? Absolutely not. They're nowhere near that. Are they working towards that? I think everyone is in college football. I think everyone wants to be a dynasty. Georgia's a legit team right now, but they're a long way from being a dynasty and championship program. I know they got one championship. They are the defending champs this year, but let's slow our roll on calling them a dynasty. Oh, I-Man Report. I'm sorry. So Georgia is set to face Mississippi State this coming Saturday. We look forward. You have this game here. It is technically an upset as Tennessee was the number one team. We'll say that. What was the line? The line was UGA 10, and they definitely covered, winning by 14. The Georgia Bulldogs get it done. Let's look at the Big Ten here. Michigan State Spartans go on the road and get an upset over number 16 Illinois. 7-3 at the end of the first. The Spartans shut out the Illini 2 straight quarters, 6-0, 14-0. Then the Spartans looks like they're slipping away a little bit. Illinois is going to try to make a comeback. Illinois scores 8 points in the fourth quarter. They lost by 8, believe it or not. Tommy DeVito 25 of 37, 288 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Not a bad day for him. Just didn't have enough in him to find the end zone at times. And they got in the red zone a few times and had some turnovers and costly mistakes. Peyton Thorne, 19 of 29, 182 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Jalen Berger, 15 carries, 81 yards, the lead rusher for Michigan State. Of course, you have Chase Brown, 33 carries, 136 yards. Jalen Reed, 5 receptions, 68 yards, and a touchdown. A turnover for each team. Illinois had more time of possession, more yards, more first downs, but obviously it was Michigan State who was able to find the end zone more times, than their opponent. And you just got to give them credit. Congrats to Michigan State on this victory. 23-15, the final score. Michigan State over Illinois from Champaign. So there you go. What's up, Sippy? How you doing, man? It's good to see you. Ironman report. I think Bama fails to go to a New Year's Six bowl game this year. Yeah, I mean, we are in a position where we probably obviously make a bowl game. Probably could still have 10 wins. We're looking at Citrus Bowl, Outback Bowl. Of course, they changed the name. I forgot what it was. I don't know. We'll see, but let me see here. Oh, here's an upset. Washington over Oregon State, 24-21. Oregon State, number 23, falls to 6-3. Washington advances to 7-2 on the year. Oregon State, this was one of those mini shootouts, back and forth battles for both of these teams. It was 7-0 Oregon State. At the end of one, it was 14-7 Oregon State. Then at the end of three, it was 21-14. Washington got their defense together. They pulled it out. They hit a game-winning field goal to basically break the tie. They got a touchdown to tie it. Then they go up. They hit three. And they get the win. So Michael Penix, remember he was at Indiana. He did very good there. He's having not too bad of a season with the Huskies. He's was 30 of 52 in this game. That's not bad. 298 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Compare that to Ben Gulbranson, 12 of 19 for 87 yards. Not a lot of good passing game for Oregon State. They ran the ball more times than not with Martinez. He had that's Damian Martinez, 19 carries, 107 yards. He also was their lead receiver, 1 reception of 40 yards. Deshaun Fenwick had 2 of the 3 touchdowns in this game. Oregon State had more time of possession, but could not get the first downs or the total yardage. Each team with a turnover. Washington having more yardage, having more first downs, being able to drive down late to kick a field goal, gave them the victory. So we will see what happens next going forward. Full scoreboard. Let's see what else there is. Let me check the comments. AIP dog. Uh, at Christian Ballard, what do you think about that Oklahoma's loss to Baylor? Well, we can pull it up. I didn't watch the game. Was that this week? I must have missed that. Hold on. Or are you asking about a game for next week? Hold on. Let me see. It was this week. I don't see it on the scoreboard, so I can't pull it up. So I'm sorry, I can't. I can't tell you. Notre Dame upset Clemson. Let's look at that one and see how that went down. (35-14), a touchdown only game. Down to the fourth quarter. Notre Dame pulls it off at home in South Bend. Not the best of seasons, or at least the best of starts, but what a turnaround for Marcus Freeman, the first year head coach. And Clemson having one of the best defenses in the nation, somewhat finding their offensive rhythm back this year. Could not find it in this game. DJ Uiagalelei, 5-star recruit, of course. We know that. I don't know what to say other than let's just not say anything. Let's just look at what he did in this game here. 27 of 39, 191 yards, a touchdown, and one pick. Will Shipley was the lead rusher for Clemson. 12 carries, 63 yards, and a touchdown. That's not bad. And, of course, in receiving, you have Davis Allen, 7 receptions for 60 yards. Michael Meyer, the tight end, 4 receptions, 44 yards, and a touchdown for Notre Dame. Drew Pine has looked pretty phenomenal these last few games. He looked okay in this one. 9 of 17, 85 yards, and a touchdown. And then you have Logan Diggs, 17 carries, 114 yards, no touchdowns for him. 2 turnovers for Clemson, where they just Notre Dame was able to answer off of those turnovers. Notre Dame had more time of possession, 33 minutes of game clock, 24 first downs, 348 yards, no turnovers whatsoever. They just controlled this game. Prince Cauley had a 17-yard return off a block punt for a touchdown. Drew Pine had a 5-yard run in the second quarter. Notre Dame goes up at halftime, 14-0. Almost a shutout up until the fourth quarter. A scoreless third quarter for both of these teams. Audric Estime had a 2-yard run. Benjamin Morrison had a 96 pick six. Will Shipley had a 1-yard run. They were able late in the game, although it was not enough as Notre Dame had already built up a big lead. Will Shipley had a 1-yard run on an 11-play, 75-yard drive. Notre Dame also had a 11-play, 75-yard drive with Michael Meyer getting a 17-yard pass from Drew Pine. Joseph Nagata had a 4-yard pass from DJ. I'll say this. I do think Clemson is a dominant and really good program. Are they a good team this year? I think they finally met their match. I think they finally were tested. And I think we saw the true Clemson, man, against a talented defense, against a talented, uh, coaching style. And it's very interesting what Marcus Freeman's done in his first year. Didn't start out right, but he turned it around. Um, you know, Clemson was finally tested, and the same Clemson that held them back last year came out of them. Not a whole lot of big plays on offense, too many mistakes. DJ, look, I'm sorry. I think the days of DJ Uiagalelei are over for Clemson. I'm not trying to throw him under the bus, but I really think they need to make a switch and go with Cade Klubnik. They really got to find their offensive rhythm. They got to keep recruiting. They're going to keep recruiting. I do believe that. I do believe that Dabo Swinney is an elite head coach. I think that he's still building a great program in Clemson, South Carolina, but I don't know about DJ being that quarterback. I'm sorry to say it. I'm disappointed because I remember when he came out of high school how excited I was to see this guy and wherever he would end up going to college, and it just hasn't worked out. But again, 35-14, the Fighting Irish take down the Tigers in South Bend, and Clemson falling to 8-1. Anyway, honestly, that's really all I got for tonight, guys. We did go through a couple different games. There were a lot of upsets. There were a lot of crazy and wild finishes this weekend in college football, and we can't wait until this weekend to maybe see some more of it. And y'all know what to do. We're on Facebook. Hit any reaction. Let me know how you feel about this stream. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to hit the thumbs up. Really would appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button and go subscribe to my co-host who couldn't make it tonight, TikTok Chess Hall. Love you, buddy. I know you're watching, and you always do a good job on this show with me, and we hope to get you back next week. But I'm going to get out of here. I love you guys. Jesus loves you. He's got an amazing plan for your life. Do me a favor. Please like, comment, and subscribe right here to Ballard Sports Media for more sports content. And until next time, folks, Ballard Sports Media is checking out. We'll see you later.